A few words that drummers, percussionists use quite often. Here's a few. There's so many. We're just going to start here. Pulse, tempo, BPM, subdivision, and note value. And perhaps we'll go over a few more. But you've probably heard these terms being used before. I'm going to explain them briefly and also link a video below where I talk about time signature and express a few of these ideas a little bit more. Time signature is something that if you're beginning in music theory that may elude you. It may be kind of a complicated idea for you, so you can check out that video. Anyhow, these terms, pulse. Basically, a pulse, when we use that term, is a steady beat. It's like the ticking of a clock or the thumping of your heartbeat. Or the snapping of my finger right here. It's the steady beat. How fast or how slow that steady beat is, the tempo. That's the speed. They're two different things, but they can be used synonymously. The pulse of the rhythm, right? But usually it's different. We say it's a fast pulse. It's a slow pulse. The speed is the tempo, all right? Now, so you have tempo and you have pulse. And how often or how many times this is played in music is considered the BPM, that the tempo is usually considered the beats per minute. Often we measure this speed based off of like this minute measurement. Okay, so beats per minute is usually how it's measured. Now, here's the thing. I'm using the term beat, but there's different types of beats. There's different types of notes. And sometimes beat and note can be used synonymously. So if I'm snapping my fingertips, and I'm snapping my fingers here, I could be snapping quarter notes. I could be snapping eighth notes, 16th notes. There's different types of notes that we use in the world of Western music theory, okay? And these notes are either shorter or longer, half notes, whole notes, 16th notes, eighth notes, as we've said before. Those notes are also the beat, okay? So the note value is, if it's a shorter note value, it may sound faster, but it's not necessarily faster, all right? For instance, if I am snapping here quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, which quarter notes are usually counted by the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Now, the time signature is how many beats do I count of those do I count until the pattern starts over. So if there were 5 beats, but they were 5 quarter notes, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's count to 4 because that's something called common time, and a lot of music within the world is counted in 4/4, and we use terms like common time because it's common. So if I count to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, well, those are quarter notes. And within every quarter note, there are shorter notes, like eighth notes. All right? Now let me play on this drum real quick to show you how shorter notes can live in the longer notes, and then explain that it's not necessarily faster. We're not speeding the music up. We're not speeding the tempo up. We're just playing a shorter note value. How long or how short the note is the note value. So with my right hand, I'm playing quarter notes. But with my left hand, I'm playing eighth notes. The time it takes me to play 1 quarter note with my right hand, I can play 2 eighth notes with my left. Okay? So think about a tall person and a short person walking together. Their bodies are going the same speed, but their feet may be going, feet may be going faster than the other. So we're not speeding up, but there's a faster turnover for one, okay? That's how the note value is. And that leads us to another term that we mentioned, subdivision. Whenever we further divide something and we break it up even more, we call that subdivision. In music, we say we're subdividing the beat. I mentioned eighth notes. I mentioned 2 eighth notes live in every quarter note. So what I'm doing is subdividing that quarter note by 2 beats, by 2 eighth notes. Well, within every quarter note lives 2 eighth notes, but in every 2 eighth notes, or every eighth note lives 2 16th notes. And in every 16th note lives 2 32nd notes. It gets subdivided more and more and more and broken down. And those notes are shorter. So you could play a bunch of these 32nd notes in one quarter note. It's not that they're faster overall. It's not that the tempo is faster necessarily. It's that it takes shorter, quicker. So this is important because let's say I speed the tempo up instead of going here. If I'm here and I count eighth notes, dot, 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 dot. I'm going dot, dot for every finger snap. Dot, 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 dot. But that dot, dot, when I speed my finger snap up, the dot, dot still is even within every finger snap. Dot, 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 dot. Dot, 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 dot. Those are eighth notes that I'm singing or saying with every finger snap. That's the note value. So you have pulse, that's the steady beat. You have tempo, how fast or slow we're going. You have how we measure these beats within a minute. So if it's 120 beats per minute, it might be something like this. I don't know what this is, right? But we count that by. If they're eighth notes, then we say, okay, there's 100 eighth notes per minute. That's the BPM, right? We need to know what kind of notes we're counting. So we have pulse, tempo, BPM, which just means beats per minute, okay? And subdivision, which means to further break up the note. And then we have note value, which is how long, how fast or slow the note is, really how long or how short the note is, okay? When you take shorter notes and longer notes and you mix them up and you put them together, or long notes, you start creating rhythm, all right? So we have tempo, pulse, BPM, subdivision, and note value. There's a few terms that drummers and percussionists use quite often. Thanks for watching. May the Lord bless you and keep you and make his face to shine upon you.